Hello and a happy Wednesday evening to you. I'm Victoria weather meteorologist Ryan Henning, coming to you again on this Wednesday evening. It's September 9th, and we're going to be looking at a forecast for Monroe, Louisiana tonight. It's a little bit sultry, or more sultry down that way than it is here in Minnesota, but we've had more than enough of that this summer, so they can keep it for a while, I guess. I wouldn't mind it returning, but we'll see what's going to go on down in Monroe for the next couple of days. For those that don't know, Monroe's in the northeastern quarter of the state. There aren't really too many large towns nearby, but they're fairly close to the Arkansas border and not too far from the Mississippi border as well. You're going to see several maps, and it's going to be labeled on a few of them, so you'll figure out where it is if you don't know where Monroe is. So let's get to those maps then. How'd you like that transition music? Alright, well, I mean, we don't get to see this very often to start the day. It's a radar. Obviously, what draws the eye is this complex of showers northwest of Alexandria. There's Monroe right up there if you can't read the text on the NWS radar here. And then there's a few isolated cells off to the northeast, south of Monroe. But what I really want you to note, and it's going to play a part in our forecast going forward, is this boundary right here. There is a trough that shows up on the observations. I'll point out that to you later. Between El Dorado, Arkansas, and Monroe, southeast of Shreveport, northwest of Alexandria. So we got the heavy rain, but this is where the trough is, and that's going to be important to note its position where it is tonight and where it's going to be demonstrated on the models going forward. But as you can see, everything's kind of collapsing. It looks like all those cells are pulsing down. There's not anything behind it. There's nothing off towards Texarkana or Tyler or anything like that. So that's a little bit of good news. But of course, this time of year, this part of the world, everything tends to pop up and then just sit there. So even if there was something up here, it really wouldn't be relevant. The key is that all this activity is dying out. I don't know if you can see my mouse. This activity is what I was pointing at. So let's take a look at those observations. Hopefully you can see this better. I notice that the light green background is kind of tough to see, but there's Monroe, KMLU. Temperature 77 degrees, dew point 72, so it is fairly soupy. The big thing I want to point out with this isn't so much temperatures, which are those numbers, or dew points at 72. It's fairly similar on either side of this weak boundary. But what I do want to point out is, first you've got these wind barbs in El Dorado and Monroe, which are pointing in it towards each other. So that indicates there's some sort of weak trough here, which we saw on the radar. But also the pressures. I'm not sure what Ruston's doing at 994, but you can see there's 989, 989, 990. So it's a little bit lower pressure here as opposed to the north. It's very slight, but it's there. So let's take that in mind, and we're going to skip ahead. Here's the we'll look at the forecast models for now. This is the NAM. It's keeping things quiet, and then the GFS, which is noisy as it usually is. So the NAM does keep things quiet in northern Louisiana, Arkansas. In the face of this weak area low pressure, there's 700 millibar trough down here, and the jet trough is up here. We're going to get to those. First, I want to jump ahead to what the short range, the HRRR, high resolution rapid refresh model, is showing. And you can see that it's trying to fire up a few showers over southern Arkansas, kind of in an east to west orientation. But we already know that the trigger boundary is right through here. So it doesn't seem very likely that that is actually going to be where shower activity is going to develop. And we can also note that north of that boundary through Arkansas, Oklahoma, East Texas, it's pretty dry. And I think that's going to be significant for Monroe's forecast. Obviously, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of activity, but I don't think it's going to be as significant as, say, the short range models. And I'm going to, again, jump ahead to our precip forecast for our meteogram generator here. And this squiggly green line is the rapid refresh model, and it's producing much heavier rain than anything else. And you can see the National Weather Service is kind of feeding on that. But the longer range models, save for the GFS, which is notoriously noisy, had very little rain after tonight, really. There's no rain for the NAM for the last 2 runs, and 18Z GFS run as well. So I think that's a trend that we can note, the position of that boundary and what it's doing to the forecast models. Obviously, with the temperatures in the the upper 70s with dew points in the low 70s, there's going to be a chance for a pop-up thunderstorm. It's just how strong is it going to be, and I don't think it's going to be very well organized. So let's look at what the longer range pattern is. So this is tomorrow with more of a free range, isolated shower and thunderstorm development thing going on, if you believe both the GFS and the NAM. But we can see what's going to happen going forward. So this is just kind of a general area of showers and storms, not too terribly well organized, but definitely there. There's something going on, and we're going to delve into that briefly here in a second. But then I want you to watch this as well. This strong area of showers and thunderstorms with a deep, you can see these curving lines here. That signifies a significant change in thicknesses. So this is some serious cold air spilling into northern Minnesota, Iowa, and it's helping to trigger those thunderstorms that will be ongoing on Friday, or Thursday night into Friday morning. So that's a thing to watch as well, and we'll try to figure out what's going on with that in addition to what this remnant shower activity is doing. And then, of course, there's also the active Gulf that both models have in mind, but it's just trying to parse where exactly the shower activity is going to be. You can see the GFS has it all out to sea. The NAM is importing that inland towards this boundary. And we'll talk about that here in a second too, I guess. So let's take a look at our jet, and we can see here, I'll mouse up here, and we can see it kind of correlates with this developing northern boundary. I'll mouse between the two, and you can see that it kind of continues to follow that pattern. So the upper level jet is what's responsible for this, and you could have guessed that by all the cold air spilling into the northern plains. But then we can also see, and I kind of gave it away, what's going on right now. There's a pretty sharp trough building back towards Louisiana at 700 millibars. So there is a purpose, there is a method to the madness with all the shower activity across the area, and it's going to sit in place. And that's going to be the reason why shower activity is so active over the central Gulf Coast over the next couple of days. And also, well, I think it's also why this NAM solution of very heavy rain in Missouri, and really the GFS solution as well, I'm a little skeptical, because with all of this activity developing along the Gulf Coast, it's going to rob moisture from this boundary. And there is a significant synoptic feature down here, the 700 millibar trough that's associated with this area low pressure. And so the models are picking up on it, and I think it's accurate. So I think the model that's handling that best right now, strangely enough, is the GFS. So we'll probably be including quite a bit of rain in the forecast. I mean, the NAM does have rain there eventually, and more significantly, but not until this boundary gets here. And I think it's just going to be more generalized convection. And I have a dog trapped in the room with me, and he's not too happy about it. He's fairly bored with this video already. So I'm almost done. More of the generalized convection associated with this feature over the Gulf, again associated with this remnant 700 millibar trough, as opposed to our cold front moving through the plains. And I think all we need to do now is jump ahead and see what that's going to do to the temperatures. And we're going to look very hard at this red spike here. That's the GFS, and that has all the rain getting in there late Friday. So that's going to be what we're going to anticipate. Excuse me for 1 second while we turn it back over this way. I forgot to show you what the temperatures are. Well, I can just tell you while I'm looking at it. The GFS temperatures are a little warmer. It's thanks in large part to the southerly flow off the Gulf moving towards the cold front, and that should import warmer air. I think that's where the GFS is going to fail, because it's also going to import quite a bit more moisture, which is going to keep temperatures a little bit lower. GFS has them pegging at 96, 97 degrees. The Weather Service is a full 10 degrees cooler than that. I'm probably going to split the difference, but hedge towards what the Weather Service has, and I would say upper 80s to near 90, but probably not the mid 90s the forecast guidance seems to suggest. So I think at long last, that's going to do it for me. That's a good solid forecast for Monroe. Looks like isolated showers tomorrow, more abundant shower and thunderstorm activity Friday night. So grab an umbrella. I hope it doesn't ruin too many plans, especially high school football on Friday nights in that part of the world. It's kind of a big deal. For Victoria Weather, I am meteorologist Ryan Henning, and have a terrific rest of your week.